All right, let's make sure that our faces can be seen. Looks like it. Welcome, everyone. This is the Personnel Administration Committee for Monroe County. It is March 4th, 2025, and it is noon here in the HR Council Conference Room and Teams Connection. I will note that all three members of PAC are present. Councilmember Fidel, Councilmember Wilson, Councilmember Iverson. Of course, we are ably aided by our PAC administrator, Ms. Courtney Mosier. So thank you for running this. We're looking at the agenda today. I'm looking at PAC members. Is there any changes that you would wish to make to today's agenda? All right. I do want to note that further down in the agenda, we have the Sheriff's Department. Sheriff Ruben Marte, Chief Deputy Phil Parker, and Chief Randy Jacobs could not be here today for a funeral, and I would ask for the indulgence of my PAC members for a moment of silence, given that we have lost not only someone on the Monroe County Fire Protection District recently, but also this police officer. So if you would join me in a brief moment of silence. Thank you. And from all of us here in Monroe County, our hearts go out to the families, and I'm glad that we're represented. Let's start today with item number 3 on the agenda, the approval of summary minutes as presented for February the 4th. Pat, are there any changes to this? No? All right, hearing no changes, we will adopt those by acclamation. Next, we'll go on to our health department. This is item number 4 on today's agenda. We have with us our health director, Lori Kelly. We've got a request to amend a couple job descriptions. Ms. Kelly, what's going on here?
Sure. So at our last meeting, we were discussing the new health services director position, and based upon some changes that were being made to that job description and these positions that report to that position, we felt that it would make sense to make some modifications. This just more clearly outlines the work that is done regarding testing and treatment for STIs, just to make sure that that's, I think, kind of clearly captured in the job description.
Okay, great. PAC members, I'm looking to you to open things up with questions, comments, relatable anecdotes.
So I'm pretty new, so bear with me. So I wonder about, so is there a change in classification that wasn't clear to me?
So these did previously go to WIS I was seeking a classification change. That did not occur, but this I think was more that it wasn't clearly captured that these physicians were providing oral medications. So this is kind of distinguishing between these positions actually providing oral medication in the treatment of STDs under standing orders. The director position would be providing intramuscular injections for treatment.
Okay. I better understand. Thank you.
I think this is a clear address of our concerns from prior. So.
All right. I want to note that we are joined in today's meeting by Molly Turner King, who is in the Monroe County Attorney's Department, and both Ms. Turner King and Ms. Mosier helped work on these red line changes that we had seen on the screen. Is there anything that you want to add to Councilmember Fidel's questions or anything that would help the public understand what's going on here?
I think so.
All right. Note for the record, as we do almost always, and in the council packet, the org chart is presented here. And I believe that, oh, my old eyes can't read a darn thing up there. I think, are we in the purples or the blues?
Purple.
We're in the purples.
So the disease intervention specialist reports to the disease intervention specialist program coordinator. And then the coordinator would currently reports to me, but if approved, would be reporting to that health services director position.
All right, and I have a question about procedure for our PAC administrator. These have gone to WIS previously. And so is the idea now that we would send these updated job descriptions to WIS for their records, or would we send them to WIS for additional review?
So the maintenance policy outlines that jobs should be sent once every 12 months. So in my opinion, these would be sent to WIS for their records, but not for a reclassification. We could do a reclassification potentially in a year.
Okay. Councilmember Wiltz.
Is there no reason to think that a reclassification would occur based on the addition of the medication related duties? I just don't remember or thinking on that.
I don't know that we can answer that question because we have intentionally said in the past that we don't want a copy of the rubric that WIS uses to do the point factoring. So I don't know how these job duties factor into whether this would remain at, what level is it?
Pat B.
A B or
An
an A, so.
I see.
And
And
I say that because, for example, with the deputy court administrator, we made a small clarification in supervising and that was enough to bump it up. So it must have been on the cusp of whatever the factoring category is. And I don't know if this is a similar situation or a complete opposite.
Well, one of these is an A and one's a B, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
which does not, it doesn't look like it's incompatible with some of the other things. What are you thinking?
That's my thought. When I look at those positions, I feel that these are, dare I say, maybe highly underclassified compared to some of the other jobs and the duties that are being performed. When you think about, I mean, they are testing, but then they are also responsible for providing the right medication, the right dose to the right patient. You know, those are more high level skills.
And then, as always, when we are graced with your presence, has the health board reviewed these?
Oh, yes.
I feel like that's just one of the questions we always have to ask, and if we don't ask it, our legal department will make sure that it is asked. So the health board has seen these. And
February 20th.
they were great.
Okay. So we're just approving the changes, not sending it on, or just sending it for records. But, okay.
And again, the purpose of PAC is to make these decisions. And so that's why, we exist and we have the department heads here to have these conversations. So I think there don't seem to be any more questions, so I would entertain a motion.
Oh, yeah. I move that we accept the red line changes as indicated for both job descriptions and forward a copy of the revised descriptions to WIS for their records.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further conversation from Ms. Kelly, the legal department, our PAC administrator? Hearing no further conversation, could we have we need to have the roll, right? We can't do a voice vote?
You can do a voice vote.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it unanimously. Right, got it. Some good job descriptions here. All right, let's move on to item number 5. We have with us Officer Wees from the Sheriff's Department. I think today we're talking about animal management. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, walk us through what's going on.
So just an overall observation of the position and ultimately what it has become. From what it originally started a couple decades ago, it became apparent to us that the position has slowly drifted away, and unfortunately too much responsibility had slowly been tacked onto them. And we kind of needed to do a realization that we needed to essentially snap them back to what they originally were, just a tightly bounding their job responsibilities and not putting too much of a burden of what was not realistic for them to be doing. Unfortunately, their job kind of got away from the true nature of it being an animal management position and slowly leaked into more law enforcement. They grade the line, so we just needed to bring it back to what it truly should be. So,
All right. Thank you for that explanation. I'm looking to Pat to get us going with questions, comments.
So on page 3 of the job description itself, on the top of the page, it lists job requirements, continuation of job requirements, and I just think it's a grammatical omission of a word. So where it says ability to properly operate, it should say ability to properly operate, right?
Mhm. Yes.
And then also we're in that same sequence of list of items there. I wonder if laptop would be something that, some other type of equipment. I mean, we don't want to assume what they will be doing, but are there other types of equipment that they may be asked to use in their duties?
on which
Or would it be a laptop, that kind of thing, you know what I mean? Or would it?
Which one?
all these-
She's talking about
So-
the very top of page 3 of the job description. It's also on the screen.
It seems odd that we're saying that they can operate a telephone
I know.
or typewriter, frankly.
That's right.
Typewriters threw me a little. But I thought, okay, well, we'll just put them all in there. But then I wondered about the tablet or laptop or something like that. Well,
Mhm.
is this all the different varieties of equipment they'll be expected to use? I guess that's my question, right?
I actually have a different copy, so this is the first time I'm actually seeing this.
Yikes.
Yeah, so. I don't,
This is where we. Ms. Moser, can you scroll up to the red line sections just real quick so we can make sure that we've got the same versions here?
Yeah,
So- I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm not sure if this is the concern, but we were submitted the Word version of the job description that wasn't redlined, so we went through and compared that to the original and added the red lines, which just shows the changes. It doesn't alter anything. So I don't know if that's the difference that you're noticing.
yeah,
Okay.
that was news to me, so I wasn't privy on that.
So it's the same information. We just in red are things that were added that were not there originally, and then things that are crossed out is what was originally in the job description that was removed. So we just did that
So where
process.
did the red item come from?
Those were,
What happened was, per the PAC procedure, a job descriptions need to have deletions, bolded and struck in, and the
Right.
red would be additions. And so the job description that we got was not redlined, so what I did was I compared the most recent job description that we had with the version. So administration sent me the non-redlined job description, and I compared that to the one that we had, and I went through and added the strike throughs and the additions.
So.
And then did you send that back to the sheriff's office?
I did not send it directly to the sheriff's office.
no, it was,
Provided it to the scribe.
That's right. And that's what we have here today. And what I would propose is that for Officer Ruiz's sake, we go through what's on the screen just to make sure that that comports with what you have on your screen.
Yeah, so the
It-
redlining of the old one was, I didn't know that was gonna be a procedure. Essentially, what was explained to me is they started from scratch, rewrote a whole new
Okay.
job
So
description.
on the screen, you see the first crossed out duty
Yes,
where they're enforcing laws. That was taken out, and I think that comports with what you were talking about at the beginning. Where
Mhm.
so now still the new one that was presented keeps that verbiage in there to enforce
Hmm.
local, local ordinances and state laws
Okay,
specific to animal violations.
Which was gonna be my question is why exactly would that have been taken out? So it sounds like it wouldn't have been.
Yes, I'm looking.
Or,
Yeah, we need to make sure that we're all on the same.
yeah, as right now, we're
Yeah.
comparing apples to oranges at this point, so.
all right, so Hack, I think we've got two choices in front of us right now. We can go through this job description and make sure that we're comparing apples to apples. Or we can table this and come back to it at a future date. We're 16 minutes into usually an hour-long meeting. I've got,
I will say is the version that Ms. Mosier is displaying right now is the version that Chief Parker sent us on February 13th, and it removes that enforcement language.
all right, Pack could,
I see. Regardless, we have to figure out if, yeah.
So I don't know which
which one.
version is the right version.
Right.
okay,
Is there someone in the position now? That would be a question I would have. Is there someone doing this work?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Actually, do we have two?
I think we have three.
Three?
Yeah, we have 3 animal management officers.
Mhm. And the intent, the idea was not that we would request a change of categorization.
This is a simple A, and so even with, I mean, removal of duties will not change it because it's a simple A, which is the bottom of that simple grid. The addition of duties would bump it up, but it appears that we're removing language.
Yeah, but we're also adding, right?
right, so there was the red language, which was the additions.
Let's strike through so move.
Mhm. So,
So looking at the document I have is the actual special deputy authorization, which goes into a lot more detail on theirs, the specific animal management officers' roles. If Chief Parker has sent over a revised county job description, then I haven't seen that yet, but we can walk through that together and see what stands out, and I can comment on anything like
What was
that.
the date on the one you received?
Well, this one is just gonna be this is February 21st, and this is their special deputy authorization. So this is what's granting their special deputy status under the sheriff's
So
office,
that's helpful because there's a distinction between
the two.
the two. So a county job description is going to be different than that special authorization.
Correct. So, yeah, I think we can get back to just going through this and,
That was
Is
helpful.
that what
Thank
you,
you.
is that what you want to do then? Just
yeah,
go through
we'll
this and
we'll
make
just
sure
go
it's
through
okay?
that. Yeah.
And see what the one that Chief Deputy Parker sent over.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what we're looking at now.
That's what's,
The strike through it and all that stuff. Okay.
The one that Chief Parker
Wow.
sent over was the one that I compared his version to the one that I had, which is what led to the strike throughs and the red.
I think it is important though that Chief Deputy Parker sees the red line draft at some point.
It was within the packet.
Mm.
Just so everyone knows.
And he would have got it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, okay. That's true.
right, so what is on the screen now is what Chief Deputy Parker sent over without any redlining or indications of any deletions.
Is it helpful if I print out both versions for everyone? Or would anyone like a copy physically?
I've got the
Yeah.
packet in front of me, so I'm
I
good
have the
with
pack in
that.
front of me as well.
That one,
This
as
is,
long as it's big and
Okay.
we can see it, I'm good.
Would it be helpful if the two are side by side?
I think that's what I'm doing.
Nice.
Okay, so the left is the red line version and the right is what we were submitted by Chief Parker.
Are either of these being shared on?
And the Chief Parker's is, and
Okay,
I can,
that's fine.
I can share both.
No, it's okay.
But the red line is the one within the packet, and the other is what's being shared on the screen.
Makes sense. Okay,
So the first red line is updating the date of revision to January 2025.
and then we've got duties and we have. Receives and responds to citizen complaints.
That didn't change, right?
Correct.
Right.
But then they added response to calls of vicious animals.
And it's actually in the Chief Parker version,
Yes.
and I'm gonna look at the version that I had, let's see, picture back.
So mostly what your concern is, you want to make sure that this, either way, because these two are supposedly the same.
Right.
And just in different formats, one with things marked.
When you can see the.
But your concern is more, does it match what I thought we were talking about? I mean, I would.
Yeah, just at this point, realizing that we're talking about two different documents, just make sure there's no stark contrast that would contradict, you know,
So really
their
just,
authority.
yeah, so we have both. And that's sort of what I'm interested in, but as we go through, are you comfortable kind of on the fly saying, okay, all right.
I bolded that red sentence because in the version from February 2021, that sentence isn't in there.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. This is what you're doing.
All right, so
Rescues. Sticking
That's the
in,
same.
works closely
Same.
with the Board of Health, with veterinarians.
And the next one is strike out some things. Take out prepares probable cause.
So I take that out because that full sentence was what is in the February 2020 version, and Chief Parker's version, that sentence is not there.
And presents cases to prosecutor's office for charges of violations to those things. Okay. Tranquilizes, there's a lot more fine stuff than West Medias does. Plus expenditures. That's cool.
Thing.
Yeah, so at that point, it's just more of them sending up the chain to our office manager to say, hey, we need this equipment. We would like to buy this, but it's more of just, they have the authority to ask for stuff and.
Right.
And
Such as
now,
it is.
I will point out that at this point in the job description, there are no more changes further down. So the changes that we received from Chief Deputy Parker are pretty minimal.
Mhm. Inspects commercial animal establishments to ensure.
They do that.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Actually got one of them that's requesting a specific equine training in Colorado to assist in their inspection of those facilities here in the county, so we haven't got there yet, but.
I want to go to equine training in Colorado. Okay.
I've also never seen a roadkill permit.
Yeah, we were just talking about that on the ride along.
Glad we have those.
Because there was a deer.
Yeah.
On Friday.
Yeah.
But it was picked up by the time we got there. So, permit or no.
Yeah. All right, Pat, do you have any other questions for Officer Ruiz or?
So back to my original
Mhm.
two at the top of page 3, I don't know how it shows there, but the ability, and it originally said ability properly, and I think it should say ability to properly.
I guess my addition to that question would be for county legal. We worked on a lot of job descriptions to put in language that assumes that technology has and will change. Do we have template language for this so we don't have to list out different technologies?
We did that.
I think, I don't know that there's template language because it is fact dependent on this, the position. And if we were going to change that, I do think that that would require, some review by the sheriff's office.
Agreed.
Are you comfortable with it being that they
Yeah,
can use a phone and type on a typewriter?
I think leaving it open to a vague interpretation that it can
Well,
expand
you
the
could call
time.
it And any other additional equipment
Yeah.
supplied or something like that, right? To keep
Something
it
that's-
nebulous, right?
Yeah.
The implication is that whatever we provide you, you're gonna operate, right?
Okay.
How to phrase that exactly, but that's the intent.
I think at this, are you comfortable with that language or the, what's being suggested in terms of adding language later? Or is this something that you want to do now?
Well, I think it always should be left open, right? So that whatever comes forward in the future can fit under this umbrella, whatever the umbrella is. So you could say includes but not limited to, that would fix it.
If we change any of the wording, it goes back to the sheriff and then comes back to
All
us
right,
and
well, I
delays
guess we'll
it.
just deal
So
with the
that I
problem.
think is what you're kind of getting at,
And
right?
I would suggest that the language, a variety of standard office equipment, fits kind of what you're saying. And I think what I'm hearing from Officer Ruiz, that it's open to interpretation what standard office equipment could be.
And that's what you're gonna put instead.
That's what's there already.
Oh, I see what you're
So
saying.
we don't have to change anything.
Okay, all right, fine. All right. But it does say including, which is fine.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Mhm.
At this point, could I ask what I always ask? Could we see an org chart? Because I'm a visual learner.
Well, because this is pertinent.
Hmm.
Interesting. I haven't seen this in a while.
Let's see. And again, we're not looking to reorganize the sheriff's department today. We're focusing on animal control and seeing where it lands within the org chart.
Sergeant.
And the reason this is a draft work chart for clarity is, we did not receive an updated work chart with the request, which we would typically receive.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just, the version that we've had since April of 2021. So we marked draft on it because we weren't sure if this is still the correct version, if changes need to be made, or what the status of this chart is.
Yeah, I was just about to point out that I think we've added and changed some things, so.
Well,
Cool.
you mentioned there were 3 animal controls and there's 2 listed, right? And
Yeah.
that would be one, but I don't know the other ones.
Who in your, oh, can I ask a question?
Number 1, yes. Number 2, yes.
Who would in the sheriff's office do an organizational chart for you all? Like,
We have one, and it's done, and I'm about to share it with her.
perfect.
Glad we're talking.
Is it as colorful as this one?
It has multicolors.
So. Because that's important. All right, very
It's-
cool.
Courtney?
Yes.
Should be coming through your email.
Thank you. Okay. But to the point of this process here, there's 3 rather than 2, and do they report directly to the chief deputy?
They report to me. And then I report to the Colonel of Operations So they are gonna be off to the left of that very last left column.
Awesome.
On the job description, we note that this position. Never mind. Answered my own question. It was awkward. All right, so we see where it lands. We see that who it reports to. Pat, do you have any questions about the org chart or where animal control lands within the vast network of the 800+ employees of Monroe County government?
So before it was going right to the chief deputy, why did that change occur?
Just different, that was previous administration, so new sheriff comes in, restructures the whole agency.
Sheriff in town.
New sheriff, yeah,
So this has been in effect since the new sheriff,
correct.
or this one, I should say.
Mhm.
Okay. Right.
All right.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Now,
Thank you.
my question to our PAC administrator is that on today's agenda, this whole conversation about animal control was a discussion.
Yes.
I think, is this the same situation where it was with the health department where we are submitting this job description to WIS for record keeping? And then we're just gonna make sure that Officer Ruiz goes forth with the resources he needs to do his job?
Yes, we would just send this to Whisper Records and would not need to do a reclassification.
All right, does that sound good to you?
Sounds good.
Excellent, we have consensus.
We do.
If there are no other questions, no other comments or concerns, there is.
I'm wondering if when we send so we'll send this to council as well. It can go on the consent agenda just to say that we approved this change. I'm wondering if we should approve the org chart as well, just so we have this on our records.
I think that sounds great to me. I like to have a fresh org chart.
Not sure we approve it, when we just take it into record.
It's a good question.
Not sure we need to do anything, but
We typically
Accept it?
approve the org chart, yeah.
yeah,
Oh, we do,
Yes,
even with the sheriff's office.
for all departments, yes, we typically approve the org chart.
This is why we have a PAC administrator. It looks like we do have a raised hand on Teams. However, I don't know if I should accept it because it is Kim Shell who should not be working right now. But because she's a member of the public, we will listen to her anyway. Ms. Shell, welcome to the meeting.
Oh, hi. I'm just having a break up here, so I was just tuning in. I just want to say that typically we do the org charts in the office so that they're all the same across the board for all departments. So what we do is we list the position and not the person's name, because then otherwise, if you approve that org chart, it has a person's name and if somebody moves on. So we typically just do the position titles only. So that would be my only thing with presenting the org chart.
All right. That's a very helpful comment.
may we remove the names and
Sure.
proceed?
If you guys wanna use that one I sent as to create one that looks like that with no names on it,
All right,
feel free.
Perfect.
you good? Is Molly Turner King?
Based on this work chart, I would recommend updating the job description because it indicates that the incumbent, so the animal management officer reports directly to the chief deputy. Or in the work chart, that's not what happens. Needs to go to the staff sergeant, which will confuse WIS because we do not have a staff sergeant job description and or position.
Wrenches are being thrown.
They are, and it sounds like there's some more work to be done on some things. And so,
Clean it up.
yeah, and I don't think that's the work that we need to be doing in this meeting today. And so I would like to empower staff from both the council office and the sheriff's department
To clean it up.
to clean it up. Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
With no.
well,
no
I
names.
mean, I think that our council staff can certainly ask the sheriff's office. If we can work with them on that.
So as far as the animal management officer, which was the discussion today, if the reporting structure is incorrect in that job description,
Where is that in the job description?
it's at the bottom.
Oh, at the bottom.
Very good. He's done.
I'm sorry. What were you asking?
What do we do?
Could we, when forming an intelligent and a motion, include that in the motion to send this off, that any type of discrepancies in terms of an org chart or reporting structure be amended before it goes to WISP for their records?
Is that okay?
Sorry, what was the question?
So, Ms. Mosier pointed out quite correctly that at the bottom of the job description, it reflects a different reporting structure than what actually exists. And so my solution that I was suggesting was that a carefully crafted motion would include any changes of that sort before it was sent to WIS.
I think that's appropriate, but I will tell you, WIS is going to call us with confusion because of the work chart doesn't match job descriptions that we have.
All right, and my understanding was that we were going to work with the sheriff's department staff to update the org chart as per Kim Shell's comments. Was that correct as well?
Yes, we're gonna
Okay.
remove the names.
Right.
I would also suggest that, and perhaps that's a given, but the footer on the job description indicates it's from 2021. And it says original. I don't know if that's,
Is that on the red line one?
Yeah.
so, yeah,
Okay.
Packet.
yeah. So
Kim,
it's
sorry, go ahead.
Kate, go ahead, and then we'll go back to Kim. Kim, hold on just 1 second. Counselor Wiltz has something to say.
I was gonna make a motion, so please.
Oh, okay. We'll go back to hand raised online. Ms. Kim Shell, the floor is yours.
With regards to the footers, those are not updated until council approves it, and then then the footer is updated with all the current information. So it would be
Cool.
amended, and then it's approved in the date that it was approved. So that doesn't get touched until council approval.
Councilmember Wiltz, did you have a response?
Yeah, first of all, thank you. That's good to know. And I'm just thinking about the fact that if the entire structure of a department changes with
Yeah.
a new elected official coming in, this is a lot of paperwork.
Yes.
Does this happen in other departments with elected officials as the department head?
I think typically, upon election, it usually happens closer to when they start.
And then it's like a whole rearranging of the entire org chart? Okay. Okay, I can see why this would be tedious.
I think it's also indicative of how large this organization is. And there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
And, you know, you go to other organizations and department heads aren't elected officials. There are some unique challenges that local
Yeah.
government has.
For sure.
Yeah.
So if possible, I'd like
Let's
to
make a motion. Yeah.
move that we accept the redlined version of this job description with a change that was not reflected earlier to identify the staff sergeant as the person to whom this position reports. I'm just gonna end it there because okay, that's all.
All right, we have a motion on the table. Is there a second?
I'll say.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Thank you, PAC members. I'm looking online and in the room for any further conversation before we call a vote. No other comments, no other questions. All right. Officer Ruiz, you good? Excellent. All right. All those in favor of the motion on the table, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it unanimously. Thanks for working with us. This has been a pleasure. All right, so we are now to the point where we are at the end of our agenda. I do like to give the floor back to PAC members if you have any concluding remarks or statements that you want to make.
I look forward to continuing to work on updating PAC procedures. I think that we've talked about doing that.
Yes.
And so I just want to keep it on the record that we are looking at that stuff and hopefully putting some time into that to make things a little bit more streamlined. I'm also wanting to say for the record that our jobs here in this committee are going to be increasingly difficult, given the concerns that council has expressed about not approving any additional appropriations, including positions that would have an impact on our fiscal status. I think revenue neutral kind of things would be fine, but this is going to be tough, and we are going to have to limit our activities, I think, with respect to that.
I agree. I'll say one thing before we adjourn here is that for those watching here and who watch the council meetings, we have talked to our FSG colleagues about those different measures, as well as a list from the auditor's office. I do believe that Dave Askins in the V-Square Bulletin has reported out on that, so you can look at those articles as well. We are working behind the scenes very hard to craft policy, and we will move forward as soon as we can get those ready to go. So thanks for tuning in. Anything else? All right, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.